You are able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So
Fine,
we are able to see, but it's not in presenter mode. No, correct. Now it is in presenter.
You can hear the sound?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So welcome to all of you, and we have 2 sessions today. This session is the first one, and then I will be taking your 4 to 5:30. I have been told by Delhi office to take another session also. Welcome on board.
Sir, music is very loud.
We
Okay,
can't
that's
listen
fine.
you.
That's fine. No worries. I'm so glad to connect with you all and welcome each of you for this wonderful session. I mean, for this wonderful diploma, in fact, So let's do an icebreaker so that we are able to connect and do something interesting or something useful. So this is known as the Star Trek. Okay. So you have a spaceship and you're possibly reached from Earth on a specific date and you're landed there. Now the instructions are you're in the space station on a mission. Maybe something like Chandrayaan or maybe Mars or something like that. You're already in the space station. There is a malfunction and you're required to collect any 3 items and rush back to Earth with the rescue mission team. What essential items can be collected by you? You are permitted to be spontaneous and think out of the box. I'll repeat again. From Earth, you're gone to a space station, possibly on some sort of a mission, and you're in the space station. But bad luck is such that you have a malfunction, and you're informed that there will be a rescue mission vehicle coming to you. So you are supposed to collect 3 items and rush back to Earth along with the rescue mission team. So I want you all to think of what 3 essential items you would gather or you have from your personal belongings from the space station while you're coming back to Earth. All of you are encouraged to be spontaneous and think out of the box. I will stop sharing so that it will become easier.
Important documents regarding the mission.
Okay.
Which
So
is
you'll
in
be
the space
possibly
station.
carrying. Okay, very good. Very good, Braj. What
So
else?
I will take instruction manual
Okay.
and lights,
Okay.
special lights and the special tools.
Special tools and light. Yes, Chalapati, go ahead. Thanks, Abhishek.
Yeah, first of all, your life support systems. Because if
Life
you're
support
alive,
systems. Very good, Chalapati. Very good.
if you're alive, then only you can communicate or you can think about the future also.
Wow,
Right?
wow. That's right. Himanshu will come to you.
Yeah. And then
Sir, they said as per instruction, rescue will come, but not came now. So I will take only food, water, and whatever I need to alive. Whenever
Okay.
they will come, maybe come or not. I don't know. It will take time.
Okay, so you'll carry water and what is required.
As we are in the space, sir, I would rather prefer taking my space suit first of all with the oxygen so that
Yes,
I can be
Bharti.
alive.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bharti. Yeah,
So
yeah,
these
yeah,
are few
life jacket or whatever is required to come back.
correct.
Very
So
good.
the space suit and oxygen would be 2 most important thing which can sustain me into the space
Wow,
environment till the time the rescue comes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Amit,
Yes,
would you like to go ahead?
Amit Pokharnikar. Am I audible, sir?
Rajesh, Robert, somebody mute him.
Rajesh, you can mute yourself, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible now?
Yes.
So in my case, I'll check the landing coordinates or landing zone because since it's space station, all the information would be asset digitally available everywhere.
Okay.
So I'll go through that. Apart from that, anything that probably would be there in terms of the personal resource, which I would have taken over there, I'll try to have that at a personal level. So I think these 2 things would be the things.
Okay, wonderful. Kathy, would you like to go ahead?
Yes, I would take the signaling device to ensure that the rescue team does not go elsewhere and just comes to me ASAP. So that's going to be along with the essentials that the team has rightly said, oxygen and the spaceship. But signaling device is one add-on which I will not miss on to.
Okay. Wonderful. Anyone else would like to make a last submission is allowed? Yes, Preeti. Yes, Sanjay, Abhishek, Anand, Amit, Dheeraj, Nandan, Devian, Madhu.
I had already said, sir.
Communication
Okay, okay,
devices,
okay. That's okay. No worries.
face, face
Yes,
route
Ruby,
communication devices, and
Ruby, Shilp, Neeraj, Lata.
Hello,
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead, Preeti.
sir. Speaking only for myself, I am not really sure whether it is logical or not. Something to keep me engaged.
Okay.
Whatever allows me to pass some time. Survival kit
Okay.
and communication kit. Three things.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. So, congratulations to all of you. Please understand all these activities are to engage and generate response. Our game as facilitators or trainers is to engage. Some sort of a response you need to get from the participants. So, multiple games are available, multiple things are available. In person, it becomes slightly easier. In the virtual or the hybrid mode, you'll have to do something like this. You have to make it as interesting and as depictive as possible so that you're able to generate a response. That's basically the participation. So thank you so much to all of you all. And I'll go back to sharing the screen. Okay. Which I like, you'll be seeing in many of my presentations. I normally put a ready-made clap and some score. It helps you. This is basically to help you to encourage your audience, encourage your participants, whether they observed, whether they have directly participated, whether they are watching, whether they are listening, whether they are answering, whether they are whatsoever. You need to appreciate. So some sort of a score, some sort of a clap would definitely add a lot of value when you do this sort of thing. So now, thanks to you all for the participation. Now we'll go into the session outcomes. We are going to go into module 1. We're going to talk about some basic training methods. We're going to talk about certain needs, maybe the delivery approaches, the advantages, knowing of your client, what is exactly facilitation, role of a facilitator, individual learning facilitation, types of techniques, common learning methods, advantages, disadvantages, training needs, identifying them. I'm sure that most of you are teachers, trainers, managers, leaders, coaches. So most of these things would be at certain times you'll find this thing slightly repeated, but we can take and we can extract and we can capture certain relevant and interesting information so that it would be more practical, more pragmatic, not just to develop your response sheets, not just to write your examination papers, but even for conducting your training sessions. There could be a value add from each of the faculty teaching you the different gamut of subjects for your postgraduate diploma with various years of experience and exposure. So it could be a nice mix to pick up and extract certain things which are useful. Okay, now we start with the basic concept on knowing training. When you talk about training, what is exactly training? When you talk about training, any idea how can we differentiate training from facilitating?
Training is more of
Yes, Debian.
connected with upskilling someone.
Upskilling someone. Okay, very
Upskilling,
good, Debian.
yeah.
Someone else would like to say something? Yes, Deepak, Deepali, Dwarka, Madhu, Lata, Bharti, Sanjay, Abhijit, Ashley, Lata, Madhu, Mohan, Mugdha.
Sir, I think training is
Yes,
something
Deepak.
where one-way training will be happen, and facilitation is something where we encourage participants to engage in the
Very
learning process.
wonderful, Deepak. Wonderful, Deepak. Wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. Yes, Amit, go ahead, please.
So training translates into learning, or the outcome would be learning to a greater
Okay.
extent.
And what about facilitation?
Facilitation not necessarily be with regards to having the end outcome from the trainer's perspective or the person who's facilitating. However, it will help in the entire ecosystem of providing the training outcome. So one would be more in terms of what will impact the participant in terms of their learning ability, Another one
Okay.
will facilitate the entire process of the learning journey.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very interesting explanation. Three others have raised their hands. Please go ahead.
So, for training,
Yes,
it's
Anand, go ahead.
yes, uh, for training, it could be bridging the gap kind of thing where some sort of need is being fulfilled, as well
Okay.
as facilitation will do the same, but the difference is like the facilitation is one of the part of the training where we give that environment to make people engage within their needs, with their needs, to acquire those gaps, to fulfill their to bridge their gaps and something like. So for
Okay. Okay.
engaging
Thanks,
them to learn.
thanks, Anand.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anand. Yes, Katie, go ahead.
So training, what I prefer, I consider training is to be where learning objective, where knowledge is delivered, where you have a desired outcome to achieve, versus facilitation is more like a packaging, how effectively you communicate that, how you translate that information through a collaboration session, through problem solving, group discussion. If you make it more engaging, the audience will learn faster. So the packaging is facilitation. The product inside is training.
Wow, wow, Kathy, you've given it a different dimension, product and packaging. So that's a nice way of putting things. Yes, Mugdha, go ahead, please.
Training is basically to transfer the knowledge, whether it
Okay.
is for a longer term or a shorter duration, we just don't know. But facilitation is where the transferring of the knowledge, you make it a little easier.
Okay. Very
It's
good. Very
easy to comprehend.
good. Wonderful, wonderful, Mugdha.
Thank
I
you.
can see two more hands raised actually, but I can't read out the names here. You know, some names are visible, some names are not. Yes, Preeti. Now I can see Preeti and two more.
Sir, I would like to explain
Please,
it
please.
with an example.
Sure, sure.
Training is where we are building a bridge for the trainees to cross over.
Okay.
And facilitation is where the bridge is already existing and there are multiple ways, and we are guiding the trainees to cross over.
Oh, wow. That's something amazing. That's something amazing, Preeti. Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you,
I
sir.
think we have got a couple of more representations. Yes. Two others have raised their hands, but I am not able to see the names. You know, Preeti, possibly you could lower the hand so that maybe that name will be visible. I don't know. This is basically a technical. Yes, Naveen. Naveen plus one. Now it's Naveen. Yes, I can see it. Naveen. Naveen, go ahead, please.
Yes, so for me, I consider training in the focus is more on the trainer and the skills imparting on the participant. Whereas in case of facilitation, I think the focus is more on the participant to enhance his skills. The focus shifts mainly to participants in facilitation.
Okay, very good, Naveen. Thank you so much. Yes. Now there's one more, is it? I mean, there was someone else, but now the hand is yes, Naveen. Naveen plus one. So Naveen, you can lower the hand so that the other person's name I can see. Yes, Madhu. Madhu, go ahead, please.
या सर आई थिंक ट्रेनिंग हमारा दो पार्ट का होता है ट्रेनिंग. एक तो है हैंड्स ऑन प्रैक्टिस जहाँ पे हम करते हैं, तो जो हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं विद द हेल्प ऑफ फैसिलिटेटर दे कैन एनहांस योर स्किल्स. एंड एक है हमारा ट्रेनिंग जो कि हम जैसे अभी हम कर रहे हैं थियोरेटिकली. सो दैट्स इट. थैंक यू.
Okay, thanks. Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations to all of you. Wonderful inputs, wonderful inputs. Himanshu, you'd like to add something?
So training, we focus on the outcome, whereas while doing the facilitations, we are just supporting the conversation and not focus on outcome, rather than we are focusing on more listening and supporting. I think so.
Okay, okay. Most of your points are well taken, but we will gradually see how facilitation is, what is the exact purpose and why we are doing it and all those things. We'll come. I mean, all your inputs are highly appreciated, absolutely wonderful. So I think a lot of your inputs are appreciated. So let's talk about training a bit, then we'll go on to the facilitation. We'll start unfolding, we'll be doing a lot of activities also. a process of developing learners. Okay, the idea is basically you have some sort of a connect with the learner. There's some sort of a structure. There's some sort of a process. Maybe there is some sort of a specific outcome with an objective. So maybe a task, maybe a standard operating procedure, maybe enhancement of performance, the knowledge, skills, competencies, abilities, attitudes, and you measure it in terms of return on the investment, not just in terms of money, but in terms of time, effort also. This could relate to your facilitation also. We will slightly unfold with the moment we go ahead. Now, this KSA acronym, this actually hits you hard in the sense what happens there is quite an area where it shows a very different feature. There is one pyramid which says knowledge, skills, and abilities. Now, the other pyramid says it's a triangle of success, but they change the word from knowledge, skills, and attitudes. So I would appreciate when we say that it's not just knowledge, skills, and abilities, it's even the attitude. Okay, it's not just the three things, it's almost the four things, or the triangle of success. To be a good trainer or to be a good facilitator, to impart knowledge, to develop the skills, to bring in the awareness, to enhance capability, whatsoever it is, whether it is soft skills, functional skills, technical skills, hard skills, whatsoever. So all those things would be required, which will translate into setting of goals and time management and reasoning, communication, interpersonal skill, self-motivation, self-confidence, integrity, honesty, optimism, enthusiasm, cooperation, collaboration, commitment. So, I mean, it's a mix of all those things. So we are going to do that. A couple of training delivery approaches. These are very standard way of approaches when you talk about face-to-face. When you talk about face-to-face, maybe in a classroom, across an audience. When you do these things, it would be in the form of a dialogue, which would stimulate the learning process. I am telling you something, you're listening to that. Possibly there is some sort of an interaction, some sort of answer, some sort of a response, some sort of a stimulation, which gives me also an inertia to go to the next level. The human connect, very important, is the human connect, the contact. When you talk about contact, a physical interaction that is in-person event, in-person class, would a class or a session, whether it is facilitation, whether it is training, would promote actually a lot of collaboration, cohesion, bonding, development, supporting, collaboration. Multiple things would be possible because the human element is very vital, whether it is facilitation or training. So face-to-face would give a lot of those things. The involvement would be sharing of experiences, sharing of scenarios, sharing of stories, comparisons, multiple things you could do. Appreciation, training is offered to help the learner and is normally paid by the employer. This is a standard pattern because what happens is when you're working in the industry, when you're working anywhere, you will need to have some sort of time apportioned, a place apportioned, maybe the training cost involved, maybe the food cost involved. So many things are there. So that will be borne either by the employer or by the fees or by the commercials which you are paying to the person concerned. Next is off-the-job training. This would be very location specific, close by or at a distance. Now, this is actually, I appreciate this sort of a thing. When you're having it within your organization, if it's a one-time exercise or it's something sort of an yearly exercise or a half-yearly exercise, it would be always appreciated if you could do it anywhere else other than the office. That would help creating a different response, a different responsibility for gathering the content, gathering the knowledge, developing, enhancing your capabilities. Because once you're in the office, many a times you could be forced to connect to the work, complete an unfinished task, report to the boss, talk to the boss, break off from the training session in between. So off the job, this would help because it would minimize the distraction and allow a trainee to give full participation, full attention to the training or the session concerned. Examples could be maybe lectures, audiovisual sessions, simulations, vestibule training, case studies, role plays, management games, programmed instructions. On the job training, we'll go on to, I mean, this is completely different. That was off the job, which was away from the place. Now this is on the job, where it's very useful for people to create an environment, to provide them with tools, to provide them with the knowledge, to skill them, to maybe retrain, refresh, maybe enhance their skills, enhance their capabilities, which are available at the workplace to train the employees to do their job much better. To the job instruction training, coaching, mentoring, job rotation, apprenticeship training, committee assignments, co-worker training. These are all names, industry immersions. This could be all on the job training. It could be a few days to a few hours to a few months to maybe even extended up to a year. It will all depend upon the scheme of training which is being offered on the job. A distance learning. Now, this is one thing which has picked up more so during the COVID time. Anything which is remote, anything where you don't have the geographies involved. When you talk about geographies, you can connect from anywhere and you can complete the course. You are enabling remote conversations. You are enabling virtual conversations. You may have not exactly an LMS only, but you may have a forum. You may have a discussion. You may have a committed phase-wise or project-wise pattern for completing each part of the training module. So this is booming thanks to the internet. It requires internet. Flexibility is there, easy access is there, cost effective is there. Now this is something which is useful. Why? Because I mean, now when I talk to about almost 48 or 49 of you all, including me, all across, I think all of us come from different topographies or geographies. Some of you all would be from Chennai, Tirunelveli, Gurgaon, Noida, Calcutta, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Pune. I mean, you name it, and so many different regions all connected, and it is just the cost of the Zoom for the ISTD. Imagine putting in one place, maybe in Delhi, maybe in Calcutta, maybe in Chennai, maybe in Hyderabad. The cost would increase, or maybe the delivery patterns would increase. The number of trainers or facilitators would increase. The timings would be a bit different. So there are certain advantages also. I would not say it's exactly recommended at all levels, but in certain cases, distance learning is a boom. A popular and contemporary pedagogies would relate to the video conferencing, the synchronous pattern, and the asynchronous pattern. Anyone could tell what is asynchronous and synchronous, friends? Any inputs on synchronous and asynchronous?
No, sir. Can you explain, please?
Sure. I will do that. I'm just
Sir,
asking
but
for inputs because I'm sure that many of you are trainers. Of course, the words may be a bit disconnected, but anyone would like to take a chance?
Sir, Sandeep here. So what I
Yeah,
feel that
Sandeep, go ahead, please.
synchronous is when we take the session like we are doing it now, all the participants are taking at the same time. And
Very good.
asynchronous is when we take our web-based training. So we take at our own pace. So we take it
Very
in different timings.
Very good. Wonderful, Sandeep. Wonderful, Sandeep. Chalapati, go ahead, please.
Yeah, these are basically synchronous or real-time sessions, sir. Like this happens in the real time, where the participants are able to engage, or you're able to engage the participants, and you're interacting with the participants. So it is a live.
Wow, wonderful, Chalapati. Bharti, go ahead.
So to continuation with my other participant of this meeting, synchronous is basically what we are doing right now, and asynchronous is, let's say if I'm not available on any of the Sunday, I have the videos available, I can learn on my own pace. So this is the difference between the curriculum we can go ahead with. So ISTD is actually providing both the way for the participants in that manner.
Wonderful, Bharti. Amit, would you like to add a comment, or would you like to say something? You raised your hand, but now you're lowered. In case.
Yeah. I mean, Bharti just answered the point which I was about to say, but
Okay.
in any context, it would be the same thing. Like people are able to be there at that particular point of time. It might be a webinar, it might be a session, and if there is any kind of recording or let's say self-study mode which people can look at later on, then that would be asynchronous.
Wow. Wonderful. So synchronous is something which is real time, like Chalapati rightly said, and Bharti also endorsed, and all of you in fact said the correct thing. That's what is going on now. And then gradually, when you have, when it is recorded and you share it and people can see it at their own time, the participants can see it at their own time, own convenience. Once it's on the cloud, things would be much easier. Then we have the open schedule, online, computer lab based, fixed time online, hybrid learning. multiple options are available. Hybrid learning. Now, this is again another area which is picked up, but it's not very effective many a times because still we are developing. I mean, it's not just talking about ISTD, I'm talking about the world over. So actually, we have a lot of patterns happening. One second, there's some messages coming on the screen itself. Okay, anyone could share something on the hybrid learning or some idea?
So hybrid learning is one where we are delivering certain sessions virtually, and there are certain sessions we are going to do on face-to-face sessions where we are taking the skill sessions and all. That is the face-to-face, and when we are going to impart the knowledge related to any specific areas that we can deliver the virtually. So that is what is my understanding about the
Sure. We'll see a couple of more opinions, and then I'll tell you what I also gather from that. Yes. Thank you, Abhishek. Bharti, go ahead, please. Chalapati, go ahead, please.
Sorry, sir, it was by mistake.
That's okay. Chalapati, go ahead.
I think it's a mix of online learning, physical learning, and activity-based learning. I think it's a mix of all these, which is called as a hybrid learning module.
Amazing. Wonderful, Chalapati. Hybrid learning, I mean, I would like to just make a correction here. Correction in the sense when I'm telling you, the hybrid learning is basically where we are having both of the learning simultaneously. Like, for example, I'm zooming in on this call from Mumbai. So imagine that I'm standing in a classroom and we have some friends, I mean, from your batch who are attending the classroom with me. And others from other topographies and other geographies are connected on the Zoom or the virtual link. So simultaneously, the connect is available. Physical and actual in-person contact with the people who are attending the session. It's not so. But then if it happens and people who are on the Zoom or on any other virtual platform who are connected. So both of them attending simultaneously, both of them are connect. Both, of course, there could be certain technical glitches and all that, but we could address both of them and maintain that tempo. Wonderful. So Anirban, would you like to add something?
Yes. So what I'm thinking is that so suppose in a office setup in a training room, say suppose 100 participants are invited. So if suppose 50% are the employees are they are in the training room in the office setup, and the rest 50 are in the virtual mode. Joining by virtual mode. So is this a part of hybrid learning?
If it is happening at the same time, yes. Yes, Anirban. Wonderful inputs. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Sorry. Okay, so this was distance learning. I think it went backwards by mistake. Online study. Please do not get confused. These are certain requirements of your curriculum. So we need to do this, and certain things could be used as combinations as a training method, because training involves a lot of things. It could be virtual, it could be physical, it could be combination, it could be flip over, it could be blended. Multiple things are happening. So that's why, just to get it contextually and to see that all of you are from on the same page. Online study is basically some sort of a distance learning, which could include e-learning and online learning. Now, when you talk about e-learning and online learning, is there any difference in between these two words? E-learning and online learning. Okay, let me just put it across the way I have gathered things. Sure, please go ahead.
Sorry, sir.
I thought Priti would like to say something. That's why
I wanted to.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Online learning can be through pre-recorded sessions, so it will be self-paced. For example, I can download Udemy courses and complete them at my own behest.
Okay.
And whereas e-learning would require an active internet connectivity. So online may or may not be with internet, and e-learning has to be with the internet, is my understanding.
Wonderful. Samir, yes, Samir, go ahead. What is your input? Please go ahead.
Sir, I also totally agree with Preeti. The programs which we have in LMS portals, which we have in our organizations, that could be considered as e-learnings, while the online learnings are those learning which have been given live by the trainers, and from there you need to learn.
Wonderful, wonderful, Samir. So what I would like to add on to this is e-learning is normally enabled internet and the bandwidth requirement is there. It could be either an LMS or maybe a dynamic portal or an app-based learning which involves the internet, and continuous interactions could be there phase-wise, module-wise, whatsoever. And online learning could be maybe pre-recorded or recorded, and slightly giving you the benefit of watching it at a different time also. So the main element should be physical separation of teachers and learners during the instruction, like it's happening. I mean, I would love to meet all of you all, but it's not possible. Okay, so physical separation is there. Using of various technologies, we could use various things like polls, quizzes, videos, activities, Jamboard, multiple things where you can collaborate and use and facilitate the whole process. Excellent examples, some common examples like EDX, Class Central, Udemy, Pluralsight, Coursera. In fact, many of the universities also have this because online is becoming very popular and very affordable. Okay, now this is one guy I love, and this is one guy whom you should like at all levels. Benjamin Bloom. Benjamin Bloom. He is actually the person. He's an American creative education psychologist, an educator and a psychologist. Benjamin Bloom from America. The taxonomy, the model which he created, that's basically what we are doing, whether it is training, teaching, facilitating, whatsoever. You are actually working on the Bloom's taxonomy. It's a concept which happened many, many years back. It happened somewhere in the year 1956, but it got corrected to 2001. I mean, there was an improvisation, gradual enhancement which happened in 2001, and possibly we would have a couple of more revisions because a lot of organizations would custom fit it beyond the peripheries of the normal pyramid which you are able to see. Okay, based on skill, based on the retention, based on the application, based on the multiple applications of each of those indicators which are listed in this pyramid. Okay, creation, evaluation, analysis, apply, understand, and remember a specific process. Imagine this guy worked head on in the year 1956 when training was very primitive, of course. But human interaction was there. There could have been possibly teams and groups and friends and all those things, and certain ideas, certain skills, certain knowledge was being imparted. So evolving this diagram and taking it forward, it has come to 2024. We are expecting a revision. What revision you're seeing now is basically still up to 2001. When you talk about the revision, it's not any additional words. It makes it more focused or more curated or more exclusive. Okay, now this is one old Chinese saying, I hear it and I forget it, I see it and I remember it, I do it and I understand it. All trainers, all facilitators, all teachers need to do something which will help you to remember, enhance, and understand it better. So things like any sort of an activity, any sort of a participation which you're engaging your participants, if you also do it, like for example, a demonstration, maybe a demonstration which could be very useful. It could be maybe using the BI business intelligence tools, maybe using the artificial intelligence tools, or maybe working on Excel, working on Tally, maybe even something like from my trade. I come from the hospitality background. Maybe teaching people how to cook, maybe teaching the restaurant staff how to fold table napkins, maybe teaching the beverage staff how to make cocktails and mocktails. So that would increase my style and try to make me more proficient. And gradually the level, the pattern, the steps, all those things. So I believe in this sort of a thing where you call it something, in the earlier days it was known as demonstration. We used to call it as demonstrations. The manufacturing industry, the BPOs, the KPOs, the call centers, they all believe in this where they follow it very meticulously. The process, the delivery, the script, how it's being done, the timing, the pitch, the inflection, everything. It's absolutely fantastic. Till the time I don't do it and I don't practice it with you all, I will not be able to perfect it, neither will you be able to learn. So I do, you do. I do and I command or I demonstrate, I do the steps, and you also do it with me. After that, I just command, I don't demonstrate, and you do it. So that helps you to do it all the more better. Imagine the Chinese people taught, were knowing about this. That's why they're the third largest economy. They speak about perform or perish. That's basically the idea how we talk about in things of training. Now going on to this beautiful understanding of our customer. Now this customer is basically a client, maybe a stakeholder, maybe a training vendor, maybe a company, maybe individuals. Specifically targeting the learner group. It's very essential to have a complete understanding about the learner group. When you talk about the learner group, the demographic details. When you talk about demographic details, possibly the age, possibly the job roles in which they are, possibly the locations, possibly where they stay, what they do, where they're working. All those things would help in creating a target learner group, because when we are having different audiences, the same content, the same module, the dimensions will change. Like, for example, if I am doing something on POSH, that is prevention of sexual harassment, for the doctors, if I'm doing it, it's going to be different. For the corporates, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be different. But if I'm going to do it for the housemaids or the cleaners, that's going to be different, because they will not understand the language. However simple I might try to make it. So possibly I'll have to use something pictorial and very few words and certain connect points to make them understand. So depending upon the target learner group, we will need to customize the content. We'll have to customize everything, whether it's a story, a scenario, a case study, because it needs to be digestible, it needs to be understandable, it needs to be relatable, it needs to be validated. We should not assume that learning happens at the same level for all groups. It is not so. It will depend upon various things like background, maybe the education, maybe the state of society where they come from, maybe the company where they're working, maybe what level. Are they students? Are they working? What level? What experience? What exposure? What family? What education? Multiple things will have. We are not talking about diversity over here, but we require diversity to be united so that the purpose is completed. Every individual learner, believe me, friends, whether it's a trainer or a facilitator, for a facilitator, all the more, a focus has to be there on individual learner. If I need to say that this facilitation session is good, I need to add value to each and every individual learner who's part of my audience. So as we said in Hindi, I need to customize it. When in Rome, do what Romans do. When in London, do what the Londoners or the British people do. Things would change, culture would change, sensitization would change, content would change, applications would change, the style would change. The assessment, what sort of assessments are we talking about? Are we talking about using a metric? Are we talking about using rubrics? Are we talking about using something formative? Maybe a scenario, maybe an observation, maybe a video, maybe a debrief, maybe a question answer, maybe an MCQ, maybe a quiz. What sort? Or is it integrated like an LMS? Like someone, in your group was telling about an LMS. Many of you are working on an LMS. Now the LMS could be so structured that the module needs to go phase wise. I go into phase 1, I complete phase 1, then only I can go into phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, complete the module, and then go on for the certification. Timelines, completion, deadlines, assessments, all those things would be a pattern which is done in a very structured manner. What sort of an enterprise or business? Very important, because as per the business, we'll need to customize. For example, as a facilitator or as a trainer, I am told to do a training session on developing high impact presentations. Now, when I'm doing high impact presentations for a corporate, it would be very different as compared to if I'm doing it for students or maybe MBA graduates, or maybe even when you're talking about a school audience, the school children. Everyone needs to have a different framework, a structure, the simplicity, the content, the creativity, the application, the activity. Everything needs to change. What sort of a training company are you connected with? When you talk about training company, is it part of your own or is it an external agency? You need to understand. Organizations. When you talk about organizations, what level of organizations? Of course, here you can see the word government. it could be NGOs, it could be profit-making organizations, it could be multinational, it could be a conglomerate like Tata's or Adani's or Ambani's and things like that. It could be anything. What clients are they? We need to be very specific, because please understand, no training or no facilitation is complete if the outcomes are not achieved or if they are not translatable. People do training or facilitation. Funda is very simple. It has to increase performance. It has to boost productivity. Without that, training doesn't work, facilitation doesn't work. It is just a firefighting exercise. If I'm just doing it as a tick mark activity, that so and so is done, so and so is done, and there's no value or there is no relatability, it doesn't make sense. Whether you're doing it for other organizations, when you do bespoke programs or special programs or curated programs, for example, resolving conflict. So if you're having 20 participants, someone from Tata, someone from Birla's, someone from Adani, someone from Ambani, someone from Godrej, someone from an academic institution, I mean, that becomes a combo. So I will need to customize the content depending on what organizations I need to cater to, what levels. Understanding the client needs and confirmation. How do we do it? Who is the client? Focus is on the client, whether it's a company, whether it is a customer. When you talk about a customer or a company or maybe a school or a college or a institution or a mix of institutions, we all need to understand what exactly, why is this training required. First purpose is answering all the questions, how, when, where, why, what. Okay, so you need to know what sort of assessments are required. Where is it going to be held? Is it going to be held in a hotel? Is it going to be held in a specific location like a restaurant or maybe a training classroom or an auditorium or an adventure spot? What sort of knowledge, what sort of skills, what sort of abilities, what sort of attitudes, what sort of training is required? All those things, when you understand, which we call it as using a sieve process, SIEVE, removing the bran and keeping the things which are required. When you're doing the cleaning of rice and wheat and all those things, you collect only the essential things and the unessential things could be kept aside. So here also we need to see what is the customer looking for? What is the customer looking for? Who is the client? What is the relatability? What is the purpose? What are the objectives of the training? What is the time frame? Who is your audience? What will they gain after completing? Without those outcomes, we cannot do any training or any sort of a facilitation exercise whatsoever. What is facilitation? I put in some simple dictionary meanings and things like that, which will make it very easier for you. To make it easy or less difficult, facilitation is empowering, enabling, making the other person do, making the other person's empowered, engaged, to participate, to collaborate, to discuss, to come to a conclusion, to see individual viewpoints, to see from a different imperative, to see from a different perspective, to come to a collective conclusion. Now, the collective conclusion or moderation or a debrief has to be essentially and compulsorily done by you or me. You as a trainer, I as a trainer, you as a facilitator, I as a facilitator. Till that time, the exercise is incomplete. In a training exercise, I can teach, I can train, I can impart the knowledge, I can do the skills, I can do the attitude building or the application for enhancing the abilities. All those things are fine with a specific outcome in mind. When I'm talking about facilitation, the game changes. I need to enable people. I can give certain keywords, I can give certain hints, but I will not give any answers or solutions. No quick fix solution, no tips, no suggestions. A proper theme, a proper title, a proper concept, and then I will ask the people, I'll ask the groups to work on that independently, maybe in smaller groups, maybe in clusters. And once everyone has participated, maybe through a scientific game or maybe through an actual simple thing, something like a flip chart and using marker pens, then it comes for me to enable them to share their views based on the presentations which they make, and then offering my suggestions, offering a debrief, offering a moderation, and empowering everyone. Not telling anyone who's wrong, but to tell what is right. We are here to develop people. We are not here to find mistakes. We are not here to belittle people. We are here to develop, enhance, empower people. The process of helping people to learn, to achieve something, or to find a solution to a problem without directing how they do it. You will not give answers. You will not give shortcuts. You will not give pathways. You will talk about it in general. You will connect and you will share. You will enable the groups to succeed. So I found these things very beautiful. So I said, let me just capture this and put it here. And now we have a beautiful movie, a documentary clip, in fact.
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर आइए सर चल चल
चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाल करे ओ लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाल करे उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो अकड़ के चलो उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो पकड़ के चलो फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले हिंदुस्तान चले चलो
Okay, friends, what did you observe here?
Don't wait for others. Make your effort.
Exactly.
Things will follow.
Very nice, very nice. In fact, friends, this is one of the best training videos or the facilitation videos. It's a very old video. Somewhere in 2007, the print is not good. There's no color. Maybe some improvement could happen. But this is something beautiful. You could use it for any audience as a facilitator or trainer and ask for inputs. Like one input I got from y'all, do not wait for anyone. Start. What else? What else? As a facilitator, you need to prod people, ask people, yes, what else? What more?
You have to start.
Yes, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
You have to start.
model, sir.
I think
Being
everyone
a role
start
model.
talking. Okay. Yes, Amit.
So it's about leading by example.
Leading by example. Very good, very good. Yes, someone else? Yeah, go ahead, Madhu.
Show your leadership quality to
Show your
everyone.
leadership qualities. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Who else would like to go ahead?
As a
Yes,
as a
Himanshu.
sir, we have to just initiate and we have to support.
Initiate. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Initiate. Preeti, go ahead.
So it's about
Naveen, go
taking
ahead.
responsibility.
Taking
It's about
responsibility.
taking
Very good.
responsibility.
Very good, very good. So in fact, yes, there's one more. Preeti, you could lower the hand so that someone else, I could see the name. Otherwise, it says Preeti plus one, you know.
Sir, I didn't get my opportunity. Naveen took it from me.
Okay, Preeti, go ahead. Preeti, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I feel that this was leading by example.
Leading by example. Very good. Very good. Wonderful. Wonderful. Absolutely. Yes, Anand Kumar.
Yes, sir. It's about owning the problem.
Owning the problem. Okay. Very
Yes.
good. Very good. See, now what happens is almost 48 people are glued on the screen. you may have 48 different things, 48 different perspectives, 48 different suggestions, 48 different viewpoints being shared. That's exactly what we require. Based on all those inputs which you are going to capture either on the screen or on a flip chart, you could moderate it. Talking about initiative, talking about responsibility, talking about ownership, talking about passion, talking about doing something different, talking about whatsoever. Silent communication, it could be anything and everything. Everything works. Okay? So wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead.
Problem solving approach, sir.
Okay. This is something beautiful. This is what I captured from Applied Frameworks. Google, thank you. Tips for effective facilitation. Core skills. You just see how it is nicely positioned. Asking of questions, paraphrasing, summarizing, encouraging, assisting, exchange of ideas, framing, core skills of rapid generation of ideas, and the attention seeking, in and out listening, engagement, embracing of thoughts, active listening, making of connections, visual learning, using of humor, multiple things you could do. This graphic actually is something very beautiful. That's why I put it. I'll be sharing it with you. No worries. The content I'll be sharing once the sessions are over. I would like to just ask a point over here, friends. What is this word active listening?
To show empathy.
Yes, Sandeep.
When we show empathy while listening.
Right listening. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Amit.
So active listening talks about being involved in the conversation and whatever is the expectation in terms of work that the other person has to work on or coordinate or do something about it, the person ends up doing it. Otherwise,
Wonderful,
it would
wonderful,
be
Amit. Very
purely
precise, very
hearing.
precise. Thank you, Amit. Wonderful. Yes, Amit, you can lower your hand so that I can see the names of the others. Wonderful. Yes, Bharti, go ahead.
So active listening is more about being empathetic to the person who is sharing the information or thought.
Okay, very good. Being concerned, being empathetic. Very good. Thank you, Bharti. Yes, Kaushal, go ahead.
Sir, active listening involves at least acknowledgement somewhere or the other is verbal, non-verbal. Active
Verbal and
listening,
non-verbal. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful,
That's all.
wonderful, Kaushal. Thank you, thank you. You can lower your hand so that I can see the other names also. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yes, Anand Kumar.
Yes, it's not active listening is about hearing from heart and mind rather than from only from ears.
Wow, that's very nice. I'm listening very intently. Very good, Anand. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Anand, you can lower your hand so that I can have the others coming in, please. Bharti. Yes, Bharti. Vraj.
So just to add on onto the thoughts, sir.
Sure.
Basically, listening is not to respond. Listening is it has to be not to respond, but to understand. Usually, we listen just to respond to the thoughts, but we hardly understand or emphasize on the other person.
Very good, very good. Yes, thank you, Bharti. Vraj, go ahead, please.
Yeah, active listening, I think is like, I would like to compare it to, maybe Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli.
Wow.
They play the ball on the merit of that ball. So
Okay.
same way, active listening is listen to wherever you have to respond properly, but whatever you have to defend, keep quiet, you keep quiet. So
Okay.
you basically get involved. You are a complete, listener.
Wonderful. Wow, wonderful answers. Yes, beautiful. Very good, Vraj. Thank you so much. Yes, people, Vraj, you can lower so that I can have the others coming in. Yes, Chalapati, go ahead, please.
Yeah, sir. Actually, in a conversation or in a communication process, so it is either fully concentrating on, or understanding or responding to someone during a conversation or during a communication process.
Okay, very good. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, we can have some more inputs. Yes, Chalapati, could lower your hand so that I could see the, the system says like that. Okay, Abhishek.
Sir, when you are actively listening, you are also correlating yourself with the thought procedure of the person who is communicating that. You are
Wow.
going to correlate it with their
Very
thought
good.
procedure.
You're being empathetic, you're understanding him, you're taking him into him or her into consideration. Very good. Thank you, Abhishek. I think maximum handshakes. Yes, Ketki.
Yes, sir, it's about not rushing to give your opinion, but letting others to speak their heart out.
Wow,
Mostly,
so nice.
yeah, mostly we rush to give our opinion and without, listening carefully what others are saying. So it's about, listening to them carefully.
Very nice, very nice. Wonderful input, Ketki. We need to give a pause and listen to them and then respond. Very good, very good.
Exactly.
Very nice. Yes, Ketki, you could lower your hand so that I could see the 3 more in line. Yes. Himanshu.
Sir, as everybody said, add on कि speakers should understand that the audience is listening or not. So from the audience view, we can do like asking question or giving feedback, or by body language, by moving head or nodding, or maybe in online session we can raise hand and doing something chat. So that will be the part of active listening.
Wow,
I
wow.
think so.
Engagement, live engagement in between the responder and the
Yeah,
person who's communicating.
the
Wonderful.
speaker should understand the audience is listening or not. Thank you.
Very good, very good. Questions, feedback, and things. Wonderful. Himanshu, you could lower your hand so that I could see the other two in line, please. Yes, Brijesh.
Yes, sir. Active listening is about, classifying it into 3 components: reflecting, attending, and following.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Reflecting, attending, and following.
Following. Yes, absolutely.
Very nice, Brijesh. Yes. Yeah, now we have the last one. Brijesh, you could lower your hand so that you could have the last. Yes, Ketki.
Also, one more thing I remember that it's about paraphrasing. In active listening, paraphrasing also very important. That whatever you have listened, you should repeat it once again so that it confirms that what is the communication about from the communicator side. And the opposite person also get confidence that this is what I mean to say. Otherwise, and it also eliminates the miscommunication.
Wow, wow. Absolutely. 500 points to you for virtually Ketki, because that's what my industry also says. Like if you go to any restaurant and if I'm a waiter, a good waiter would repeat the order so that I don't take it wrong and you're not served wrong food.
Absolutely.
And possibly, it helps you to confirm what is there. Wonderful, Ketki. Wonderful. Well done. Okay, Ketki could lower so that you can have the last raised hand. I can see them. Yes. Naveen. Yes, Naveen, please go ahead.
Yes. It's about listening by being in the moment and without any preconceived notion.
Very good. No preconceived notion, being in the moment. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. All absolutely fantastic inputs. Okay. So now let us see what the key elements of the facilitation process are. It's basically to guide the learner to an agreed upon destination, which are the outcomes. You have a definite outcome. It's something like a jungle safari. Facilitation is more of a learning experience. You give the idea, you give the cues, you give the signals, you give the suggestions, but no clear pathways, no suggestions, no shortcuts. You point the people or you align the people into clusters, into groups, into teams in the right direction. Offer minimum suggestions. Take steps to enhance the experience. Okay, let them freak out. Because when you talk about facilitation is a wonderful game. In fact, I would recommend all of you all to go through the YouTube and just randomly type facilitation as a means of training, or else you can type out. There are wonderful facilitators like Ganesh Dalvi and many others who do a lot of facilitation exercises, and they'll upload it on the YouTube. So when you see the YouTube, what happens is every group is working with different stick me apps or colored stickers, round, triangle, square, in the shape of animals, in the shape of reptiles, in the shape of anything, birds and all that. And then you create a storyline. You work on it, you talk on it, you discuss on it, you absolutely deal with it, and then the facilitator actually takes you ahead. Okay, so that's basically something like a very jungle safari. So when you talk about us, in the virtual sense, you could use something like a Jamboard, or you could use even the stick me up software which is available. You could pair in, or you could cluster a different colored paper. It gives a lot of activity, enthusiasm, a lot of creativity also, you know. You could use different types of graffiti and maybe interactive elements, maybe GIFs, maybe dialogue, maybe shairis, maybe a remark, maybe a tagline, maybe a caricature, maybe anything in it. Give a lot of insight to what you're deriving it and give the guidance, but you do not do it for them. In fact, you do it with them. That means once when they give them a timeline, use a whistle, use a horn, use a bell, give it a timeline and see that they do it, and just help them to shape it up, but do not give anything more than that. Okay. Now, this is something which I freak out on. This is basically a very important grid which is required for all trainers and all sorts of facilitators. The first is the space, the place, the setting, the people, the audience, the objects, and how are they related. The environmental feature factors, very important. The light, the humidity, the temperature, the sound, the smell. Please, when you wonder smell, I mean, it's always better to spray. You have a room spray, you start feeling fresh, whether it is jasmine flavored or lily or rose or something like that, but let it be light and nice. When you talk about the people, please understand three things which make us human beings. Three things which make us human beings. I mean, but you need to control those three things. You know, one is the emotions. What is the second one? It's not written here. What's the third one? It's not written here.
Sir, could you please repeat the question?
Sure, Amit, sure. I will just explain the first one, emotion, and then I'll ask you those two. When you talk about people, we all are having three things which make us human beings. If we can control or take control of those three things, which are exclusively for each and every person. The first one is emotions. When you talk about emotions, it could be happiness or anger or depression or sadness or anything like that. It may be fright, maybe fear, maybe anything. Very normal. You would have it, I would have it. Now, what are the other two things?
Intellect.
Thought procedure. Thought procedure. Sir, thought procedure.
Go ahead. I'm listening. If it comes to the, you're very close to that.
Mind.
Communication.
Empathizing. You're very close to that, Katie.
Imagination.
You're very close. Yes, Amit, go ahead.
Sir, I think it is cognitive.
Shall I give the key
cognitive or
alphabets?
thinking ability and the ego parts.
Rationality.
Rationality, yes, Bipin.
Sir,
Shall I
empathy.
give the key alphabets to make it easier, maybe?
Yes,
okay.
Our past experience.
Past experience. Okay, very close. All of you are very close. Okay. The golden alphabet.
Conscience.
Okay, very close, Braj.
Brainstorming.
Golden alphabet, I'm doing it with my fingers. Can you see it?
Talent.
No.
Intellectual.
Time.
No. Ends with T.
Thought.
But it's not talent.
Placement, sir. Placement.
Oh my, it cannot be placement. It starts with T, ends with T.
Intellect.
Thought, sir. Thought.
It is temperament.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. No, it's okay. See, certain things, all of you have been very close to hitting the bullseye. There's no worries. And the third one is starting with M.
Mind.
The last alphabet could be D or S. D for doctor, S for sugar, S for Suhas.
Motives.
Moods. We talk about mood swings, you know. Suddenly you're happy, suddenly you're unhappy, and things like that. So emotions, moods, and temperaments. If you can have all these three placed under your control and avoid seeing that they control you, then it will be perfect.
Sir, one question here. Sorry to interrupt you, sir. One question. Moods would be connected with emotions, no? Moods would be part of emotions, right, sir?
Yes. It's an extension of emotions. Exactly. When you talk about in deep psychology, it's part of the emotions.
Correct.
Very good. Wonderful. Then we talk about relationships, near and far. You know, relationships are what is more important. You know, what sort of bonding. As a facilitator, a relationship is more deep, more homegrown. You tend to be like a friend, a brother, a philosopher, and literally everything. Not just a mentor, not just a coach, not just a manager, not just a team lead, but the relationship become very deeply embedded. By the time you finish the facilitation exercise, you have developed wonderful relationships with your juniors, seniors, irrespective. Age is not a criteria. Building up a relationship is very important. The involvement is the engagement, empowering each and every person to involve in the game. And the third is process. How you manage the information, whether you're putting in too much of data, less of data, using graphics, using smart art, using artificial intelligence, using GIFs, using different things to make it interactive, embedding videos, doing games and all that, managing of operations and managing of energy, the energy line. When you talk about energy line, in between you must have seen, always I use names. Many a times I'm not even able to see you. I've got all your names recorded on a sheet of paper. It helps connect. So even at random, you should use your names. Ashley, wow. Anirban, wow. Devendra, wow. Dipali, wow. Himanshu, wow. Rajesh, wow. Mukta, wow. Mohan, wow. Madhu, wow. Neeraj, wow. Pooja, wow. Sanjay, wow. Bharti, wow. Nandan, wow. Now when you use these names, it gives a connect. For trainers, it may not be very important, but for facilitators to connect with each and every person in the audience, virtual, in-person, hybrid, actual, real time, whatever you call it, very important. Using of names, using of connect, creating a rapport, creating a bonding, creating that cohesion, absolutely important. Okay, cornerstones for effective training and facilitation. 4 cornerstones. This is basically like a recap of the earlier slides. Knowing your style, knowing yourself in and out, do a SWOT analysis. How many of you will do SWOT? Once in 2 months recommended.
Okay.
I think most of us do it. Yes, Bharti, you do it. Very good. Okay. That helps you to improve. That helps you to improve. Make it more personalized, make it more strategic. There are certain development. There is certain sharpening of the saw required. So it will help you to improve your style. Look at certain TED events. Look at certain YouTube videos. Inculcate certain skills which are not there. Give it a different level. Enhance your strengths. Second is knowing your material, the content, the research, and the resources. Your content, very important. Content is the master. When you talk about content, whether you're using pictures, you're using graphics, you're using words, you're using paragraphs, or you're blending it with embedded videos or activities, very important. Know your purpose. What is your purpose? Why train? Why facilitate? What are the skills required to be built up? What capabilities need enhancement? What sort of information has to be provided? How will you go through the process of changing the attitude? Know your audience. Friends, this is not in any specific order. All 4 are equally important for being a good trainer or a facilitator. The demographics, age, job roles, education, experience, exposure, all those things would help. Affiliations. Now, what is affiliation, friends?
Liking.
Okay. Very close, Kaushal.
Associating yourself.
Very good, very good. This is very appropriate. Associating yourself. Like for example, you may do exclusive sessions for chartered accountants. You may do exclusive session for maybe coders. You may do specific sessions for engineers. You may do certain specific sessions for design engineers. You may do certain sessions for IAS officers. You may do certain sessions for doctors. So addressing that audience in that format or using the activity as per that affiliation is very important. People feel appreciated, people feel boosted when we use the correct affiliations. The knowledge, what knowledge do they have and what knowledge are we going to provide so that they go to the next level. The perception, what do people perceive training as? Is it time pass or is it a good time to know each other, have good food and say maza aa gaya and 2 घंटा time pass ho gaya, 4 घंटा time pass ho gaya, duty nahi kiya? Or is it something really more than that? What is the purpose of being trained? So these are actually the 4 cornerstones which you need to keep in for all types of training, irrespective whether it is in the company, outside the company, bespoke session, curated session, in-house session, continuation session, whatsoever. These are certain theoretical stuff, types of facilitation. When you talk about types of facilitation, meeting facilitation. This is basically you are a facilitator. You are very familiar with the rules of conducting a meeting. Being in offices, making a presentation, having a meeting on and off with different stakeholders is part of the ball game every day. The rules, the regulations, the agenda, the respect, the minutes, what is important, what is to be done, what is not to be done, how it is to be coordinated within the timeline. That's what a facilitator's job is. Maybe the role may not be very important. Maybe he or she may not be a very powerful person in that process, but is a good facilitator. He can enable the process. She can enable the process and see that the meeting is conducted in a proper manner. Workshop facilitation. Doing a workshop, doing activities, doing brainstorming sessions, participatory methods, doing multiple things. It could be games, activities, using a system, using software, sharing new information, giving a concept out. All those things should be part of your workshop facilitation. Decision making facilitation, creating a process. There are different methods. We'll be doing these different methods gradually in the other sessions, where you can have different processes being used, different tools and techniques being used to come to a consensus, to come to an answer. Or maybe something like a voting. You have a different pattern. Maybe on the software format, that's the virtual format, or even in the hard format, you could have multiple types of voting and problem solving processes being used. Process facilitation is talking about the efficiency and effectiveness. For this, basically, you need to have a proper study of the process. If I'm an outsider and if I'm going to an organization for process facilitation, I need to understand how the process functions and what is exactly lacking and what is exactly required. So, like some of you all rightly said, identifying the gap and filling it to make the employees more productive. So that we need to do. So maybe productivity techniques, tools for effectiveness, analyzing what they're doing, how we can improvise upon that, how you can take the SOPs to the next level, what sort of change could be done so that the process is streamlined. Again, all this will involve cost factor, whether the organization is ready to spend money for a proper process breakthrough. When you're going through something breakthrough or phenomenal, cost will be phenomenal, whether they are ready or not, or whether you just want to do it at a nominal level, at just maybe wherever it's required and not the complete change. A conflict resolution. Wonderful exercises are available where people get into conflict, people get into a disagreement, but you need to find out and make them participate and be constructive to find out something which is acceptable. Okay. A lot of techniques, a lot of scenarios, a lot of case studies, a lot of question answers, a lot of quizzes could be done to resolve a conflict. Make it very thematic and application oriented. A team building facilitation is for building up communication, collaboration, and trust within a group, challenging the team, provoking them to do something better. Digital facilitation. This is something new. This has been happening. It was happening on a very normal level before the COVID, but thanks to the COVID, it happened all the more. Using technology, using software, where you do group activities, meetings, and you're able to connect and collaborate anywhere using a lot of tools like video conferencing, instant messaging, project management software, so that you are able to come to a conclusion, come to a solution, come to an answer, come to a consensus, maybe bring in a point of difference, whatsoever. Everything is possible. Okay. So now we have an activity time, like I rightly promised you. I think they're just almost on the closing time, but we still would love to do this activity. It is very simple and this is something known as crosswords. Now you have an effective presenter, effective facilitator, effective trainer, the word search. Okay, so these words are put in the white box where you have those words running. It could be horizontal, it could be diagonal, it could be top down, it could be down top, it could be from left to right, right to left, and all those things. And the words in the colored patches are one which is important. So friends, I want you all to tell me where is this? Okay, very good, wonderful. Improvements. Now what has happened? I mean, I'm not okay. Now it got enabled. Yes.
So
Improvements. Anticipation.
Initiation.
Excitement. Wow.
Management.
Initiation. Management. Challenges. Accomplishments. And success. Oh wow, all of you are going to be successful.
Initiation.
Oh wow, that's great. That's good. Okay. So that's basically how it is. We actually could do a lot of those things and we could still go beyond. Invitations have come. I will not try to remove it because we're almost at the end of the session. So what we'll do is I'll stop sharing and I'll take some comments from you. Any comments, any thoughts, any suggestions, anything about my way of teaching? You want me to go a bit slow? You want me to use Hindi, Marathi, or go slow, not to be loud or to be loud? Whatever. Yes, Amit, go ahead.
So I, at a personal level, loved your energy.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you so
Fabulous.
much.
I mean,
Absolutely.
continue being the way you are. Loved your energy.
Thanks, Viraj. Yes.
Like
Yes.
a small
Thanks,
kid,
Viraj.
a small kid, you are expressing everything so beautifully. So we are also involved in the, training.
Okay.
It's nice.
Sir,
Oh, thank you. Thank you. In fact, that's you all are the energy. Now, just one question I want to ask you all. I mean, there is a rectangle which is coming on the screen. Do you all also see it?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, like for example, Bridges is seeing me. I can see that I can see a rectangle which is cutting half of your specs. It's like a white rectangle. I don't know how this. It never used to come earlier. Pata nahi.
Maybe some another chat box is open or message box. Please.
No, let us hope it. Hope it doesn't come into the next session.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So fine. Any other suggestions or before we break off for the actual lunch? You all deserve a lunch. Wonderful lunch wherever you all are, and that too on a Sunday. You all are sitting in front of the screen, glued up with 4 sessions. Is it 4 sessions today?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
2 you have finished and 2 to go.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes.
Okay, so the 4th one, 4 o'clock is mine. 4 to 5:30. That's what I was told by Sarita.
See you again, sir. We need to
I
fuel ourselves now.
just have to add, sir.
Yeah, please, Bharti, go ahead.
The moment you started, I felt somehow that I believe you belong to some of the hospitality industry or some service sector because I belong from the same and I can totally resemble the energy what you were having. And later on, you mentioned the same thing. So that was a coincidence. And I was like, okay, fine. I was predicting correct to this gentleman that he is actually that energy comes from that service background, what we also used to had
It
at that
helps.
time.
It helps. It helps.
Sir,
It
sir,
does, sir.
please,
Thank you.
sir, please share your email ID. I wanted to send a request on LinkedIn.
Sure.
Sir, I missed the introduction in the beginning.
Yeah,
I'm
even I
really very
missed.
sorry.
Sorry.
Acha, introduction. I never gave an introduction actually. My name is Suhas and I mean like what do you call it? One second.